Back in 2018, I was obsessed with the idea of Artifact. It was the first new Valve game in years, and although it was something that a lot of people did not want, I was all over it. I created physical versions of all of the Artifact cards. I played Artifact on streams, and it caught the attention of the developers of the game. I was added into the closed alpha shortly after one of my final real-life Artifact card live streams, and at the time, I was told that there really wasn't an NDA, and we were just kind of under a gentleman's agreement not to talk about stuff. Shortly before Artifact hit the public and allowed everybody to be able to play, there were individuals within the closed alpha that were leaking gameplay footage out to different websites. Only a few days before Valve's accelerated announcement, a disgruntled fan leaked an entire game of Dota Underlords being recorded on a very underpowered phone. Again, it seemed as if Valve was operating on a gentleman's agreement, with no real NDAs taking place. It's well known that through most of the 2000s and 2010s that Valve operated on a no NDAs, just don't be a dick philosophy. And although I don't have it under strict confirmation that every single person involved with the following story is not under some kind of non-disclosure agreement, it is Valve's historic MO to not really utilize them. I bring this up because, as you've likely heard, Neon Prime is happening. It's about to happen, but it's been renamed. We've talked at length in the past about the hard-edged sci-fi cassette futuristic take on the Half-Life universe in a third-person competitive hero-based, team-based, light MOBA tower defense shooter thing. A lot of that still exists, but all of the sci-fi and intellectual property stuff has been completely rebooted to something wholly original and more steeped in fantasy. We're waiting on a game called Deadlock. Deadlock is Valve's next major competitive multiplayer thing. Again, it's a team-based, hero-based, third-person shooter with MOBA and tower defense elements steeped within sci-fi fantasy thing. In all honesty, it looks like Valorant, Overwatch, Dota 2, and TF2 had a baby. We talked about this before when I talked about the fact that, yes, the art style was rebooted to something more akin to fantasy. Well, this project has been in development for a very long time, before Half-Life Alyx even released, by 2 years. This project started life as codenamed Citadel back in 2018, and has been in some form of development ever since. And now we're dealing with a closed alpha that a lot of people have access to. So many, in fact, that I'm surprised this hasn't leaked sooner. From what I've been hearing, there is a Discord server with Valve employees and individuals that are taking part in this closed alpha that also have access to a closed alpha build of Deadlock. There are quite a few people that have access, and although it seems as if the majority of the people that first started getting invites were friends or family of Valve employees, it started going further and further out. As it seems, on the front page of Deadlock, there is an area for people to suggest other people to be invited to this closed alpha. Of course, Valve has to approve those people, so nobody could just, type in my email. But there are quite a few people playing this game. So we're looking at a closed alpha playtest that has a group of people in the hundreds. Although we do know that there are certain popular competitive YouTubers that are under NDA for a third-person MOBA-like game, they had a closed Discord server for both Artifact and Underlords through their closed alpha tests. So this is very much in line with how they did things before. The difference is Artifact and Underlords were very small, almost MOBA-like in terms of scope. This is meant to be Valve's next major competitive game, the next Counter-Strike, the next Dota. It's hero-based, it's class-based, it's very personality-driven. This is Valve attempting to bring together all of their communities under one umbrella. And when they were working under a sci-fi theme, I feel like that was very doable. This fantasy theme, however, which has been described to me as an amalgam of Valorant and Overwatch 2, maybe not so much. However, we have the personality-driven classes and heroes and basic art style from Team Fortress. We have the very competitive-based shooting from Counter-Strike, and we have the MOBA elements from Dota 2. Combined all of those together, along with some stuff from frickin' BioShock Infinite, Overwatch 2, Valorant, and Fortnite, and you got Deadlock, Valve's next major flagship multiplayer competitive game that I have no idea how well it will do. I don't know how people will react to this. It's not a recognizable property from them. However, it looks like recognizable properties from them. Things have been simplified since we last talked about this game. Some of the information that we talked about in relation to Neon Prime were actually for other things. The train is now a skyhook from BioShock Infinite, which is actually really cool, and there are some very cool mechanics attached to all of it. But since it's kind of already hitting meteor res, I'm gonna wait for Valve to announce this stuff. Valve has a new game coming out really soon because they're publicly testing it in a closed alpha. That the build is, it's just out there. The last time they did this, it was imminent. It was like weeks away. And seeing as how things have quote unquote leaked, it's possible they will move the announcement up even closer, similar to how they handled Underlords. We're getting close to the next big Valve game. It may not be what you wanted, it may not be Half-Life or Portal or Left 4 Dead, but it's a new Valve game, and it's one that they have been working on since 2018 that IceFrog has been in charge of the entire time. We will talk about more specifics when more stuff is public, but this is getting so close that there is no reason for me to sit here and ruin a lot of it. We cool? We good? Valve's next game is called Deadlock. Deadlock is Neon Prime. Neon Prime was Citadel. It's a third-person shooter, MOBA tower defense game with very personality-driven heroes and classes. It's team-based. It's got some very interesting experimental mechanics that Valve is attempting to do so that they can differentiate themselves from the other games in this industry, and we'll just have to see how the public reacts to it, same way that they reacted to Artifact, Underlords, Half-Life Alyx, and Counter-Strike 2. Okay, this is ongoing and could be any day now. I don't want to sound like the other YouTubers, but get subscribed. Only about 50% of you watching are subscribed, and this is going to be my life for the next few months. So if you at all want to keep up with what's going on with Deadlock, Valve's next major flagship title, get subscribed. I'm Tyler McVicker, the Passionate Gamer. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support videos like this, check out my Flowplane and Patreon pages down in the description below. Or if you just want to keep up with what I'm doing, my DMs are always open on Discord and Twitter. Invite links and links are also down in the description below. I'm Tyler McVicker, the Passionate Gamer. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and hair grease. Adios.